Back at the Astrodome, it's Greg Cook that hopes to be a fat cat if he can get by Manuel Marino, who is set the distance at 273.58 feet. I'm Steve Evans along with Paul Page, and the pull-off continues in this class. Manuel Marino has predicted already that nobody will beat him now.
I'll be interested to see if the cat's still attached to the window at the end of the run. The distance to beat Moreno's at 273 feet. The only other competitor, Donnie Sanders, came 10 feet short of that. Now, will the change that Greg Cook made to the Wild Blue make a difference? Cat's ready.
I think the cat is trying to escape to get a hot dog. Greg Cook, he's not concerned with his mascot right now. What he's concerned with is 273.58 feet. You can see the huge exhaust collector sticking through the hood. What appears to be a supercharged motor is not. These are normally aspirated. Some of them use a carburetor or a fuel-injected type scoop on them. Greg Cook and crew changed gears in this truck. The track is a little bit loose. They may have gone to a higher gear to try to get a hold of it. Here comes Decision Maker hunting him down.
Chevrolet power roaring out here in the Astrodome as he continues to spin all four wheels, trying to make what distance he can, but now they begin to dig in. The crowd loved the run, but it appears to have come up quite a bit short at 233 feet. So Greg Cook, just a bit short of what I'm sure he would like to have run here in the Houston Astrodome, only 233 feet. In the meantime, back at the starting line, Fernando Narvaez is telling them where he wants the sled to make his run. Now, his La Paloma Special, bright yellow and ready to go. He'll line it up just exactly where he wants it after studying the course on the earlier runs. Steve?
Well, Greg, you fired every shot in the Wild Blue inventory, even changing gears, and it just wasn't enough.
I think we might have went a little too low on the gears, and we drove a little too hard coming out when we changed.
Well, a lot of steam coming out of the motor. It took a little abuse on that one.
Oh, it definitely got a little warm.
So a bit short, but all in all, a pretty good night, just to make the pull-off.
Yeah, it'd be all right.
Okay. Greg Cook, Wild Blue.
Little change in the gears. Costly there for Greg Cook of the Wild Blue. Now Narvaez, the La Paloma Special, backing into position. He studied this course carefully, and of course, if you draw to go later in the pull-off, you have the opportunity of watching all of those that have gone before.
You know, Paul, I guessed incorrectly when I thought that Greg Cook had gone to a higher gear. We just heard him say he went to a lower gear, but wishes he hadn't done that. And you know that this man was watching all of that.
Watching, listening. Of course, he didn't have any time between the previous run and this one to do any gear changes, but he certainly can mentally change the way he intends to engage the course.
Tremendous amount of weight hung off the front end of the La Paloma Special, and here goes Fernando.
That front end weight pinning the front end, all four wheels fighting with good traction as the transfer case comes forward on the sled. And he's got himself a fairly decent run going here, but is it far enough to get beyond the benchmark of 273 feet? No, 256 and a half for Narvaez. So the La Paloma Special also falls short of the mark, and still Moreno leads the situation here. The machine, the La Paloma Special, fairly early on, but all four are biting in. But then you can see the wheel speed begin to pick up. When you see it kick up that much dirt, then you know it's not getting all of the traction he had hoped for, and that caused it to ground to a halt a little bit early as the transfer case rolls forward and puts more and more weight on the back end of the machine. Steve?
Well, like everybody in the pull-off, this man gave it all he had from Laredo, Texas, but just ran out of steam.
Well, I think I waited a little too long to hit it, but, you know, it's just the way you take your chances. You know, you had to get as much as a bite as you could. And once I nailed it, I couldn't back off of it. I had to stay on it.
Okay, thanks for a great show.
Thank you.
273 and a half feet, still the number to beat. This is the final competitor in the four-wheel drive pull-off. The machine, the Georgia Rebel. The driver, Tony Osteen, as he backs in and is ready to hook up, hoping to beat the driver of the Yellow Rose.
Paul, I'm again with Manuel Marino. Manuel has, as you know, the best distance in this pull-off. Tell us about this competitor, the final one.
Tony Osteen is very good. He does it professional, and he's good at what he does.
All right, we'll be watching. He is hooked to the sled right now. You can hear the RPMs. If you were in his place, what would you do?
I would have gone to the other side. I think it's in the wrong side.
Boy, Manuel very free with your opinions. I like that. Okay, here he goes. You tell us what you see.
He's got a lot of speed coming.
You worried?
He won't make it.
Manuel says he won't make it. And Manuel.
It'll be very close.
Yes, it is going to be very close. We'll be waiting for a measurement.
Maybe a foot. That close, about a foot.
Okay, we're waiting right now. Is this Paul Page up the booth?
Well, Steve, it's so close that the TNT officials will have to double check the laser measurement. Let's watch as the Georgia Rebel, Tony Osteen at the wheel, powers off the replay of his run. Pretty good. A little more wheel spin off of the front than off of the back. The measurement coming through now at 272.46, just inches short of Moreno's 273.58. So Moreno wins in four-wheel drive.
Manuel, you have won it by inches.
That was a good run. I told you when I started it was a good run.
Boy, indeed it was. Thank you and congratulations again. Let's wander over and talk to Tony Osteen, who came so very close in the Georgia Rebel to pulling it off. I'll tell you, they took a very careful measurement on that. But unfortunately, Manuel takes home number one.
How's that?
Manuel takes home number one, but you were so close.
Yeah, we give him a good run.
You had him real nervous. I was down here with him.
Well, we'll try him in.
I'm sure you will. Great job.
Yeah.
So Manuel Moreno, for the second year in a row, wins here in four-wheel drive as Tony Osteen walks away with his second place by inches, followed by Sanders, Narvael, and then Greg Cook. So we've seen some tremendous action in the 4x4 trucks. Still more coming up for the final round of monster trucks right after this.
Competition remains here in the Astrodome, and not one fan is left. It's the monster truck finale, Nightlife 2, the Chevrolet truck versus the Ford machine of Bigfoot, driven by Andy Brass. And what a look you get at the undercarriage of Bigfoot. That's our fearless cameraman, Matt Eilis. An incredible shot.
And this is the kind of confrontation, Steve Evans, that the fans absolutely love. Ford and Chevrolet. Ford, the Bigfoot on the far side. Nightlife 2 pours the power here on the near side. The Chevrolet comes from behind on the first stretch as the Chevy in Nightlife 2 moves ahead.
Bigfoot had the advantage, but suddenly sees it evaporate. The Chevrolet comes over the hump first. It's Chevrolet by a car length. Still by a car length. Dave Wazorek doing an incredible job. Bigfoot comes back, but too late. The Chevy fans here at the Astrodome, they're about to tear the roof off, Paul.
Closest competition of the day as Bigfoot tries to challenge Nightlife 2, but look at him. Dave Wazorek is absolutely enthralled with that victory, and so is the crowd. The closest run that we've seen. Let's take a look one more time. Bigfoot really got the jump on the green light. Nightlife 2 was now playing catch-up, but had a little better acceleration as they came to the first set of cars and grabbed the lead on the first straightaway. They made the turnaround at the far end. Nightlife 2 maintained his lead, and Dave Wazorek powered his way ahead of Bigfoot and won the race.
What a tremendous monster truck final. Nightlife, Bigfoot 2. David, a brilliant job. You know the Astrodome is loaded with Bigfoot fans, but when this Chevrolet won, they went crazy.
Well, I appreciate that. It's tough for a competitor to race, and I don't know, I just did the best I could do. And
you know, what was going through your mind? Keep it straight. Don't take chances. What?
The biggest thing that was on my mind was making this corner. It's an outside corner for me, and those are harder to make, and that was my biggest worry, was making that corner right, and evidently I must have, because it worked out real good for me.
You did it brilliantly. Again, congratulations. Tremendous fun.
Thank you.
And congratulations to all our winners here at the Astrodome. Paul Page for Steve Evans. So long from Houston.
The executive producer.